This is the Tavern Talk Podcast with your host, Reverend Sergeant Tyler Randall.
Welcome to the Tavernites. As that beautiful voiced announcer just let you know, I am indeed Reverend Sergeant Tyler Randall, and I go by both of my titles for pomp and circumstance. For those of you that are not familiar with the Tavern, basically, it is a format by which we can take ourselves back into the 16th, in the 16th, 17th, 18th century when we had taverns, which is a meeting place where people got news from the world. They spoke openly. It was a place of debate, a place of camaraderie, a community hub. So I just like to bring that back up. It's been intermittent at best with the podcasts, and I usually do them outside smoking a stogie and just doing stream of consciousness. But I have something a little bit more put together for you today because, as I promised, some of you who watched the video will know this earlier, I was going to show the receipts on the Fed that came to my house to scold me about my memes. That's right. A special agent from the Inspector General's office of the United States Treasury visited my home from his field office in Nashville, which is about 20 miles away from my home. And he came and scotch taped his card to the door just so that he could talk to me about agents that may be in danger because of some memes that I'd shared. So let's get this ball rolling. I told the story yesterday, and I was very, very happy to do so. So I blocked out his. This is exactly how I found it. I went to go get the mail, and I saw something shiny. I blacked out his email and his phone number here. But as somebody pointed out to me, they were like, Tyler, because I was going to show the video. Tyler, you're going to show a video of this guy? Isn't that, doxing him? Very good question. And according to the Supreme Court, no, it's not. So, as it pertains to your expectation of privacy, even if you're on private property, you might not know this is going to be a little bit of a legal lesson for you guys, which I am not a lawyer. If you have legal troubles, or I am not giving legal advice, I am just reiterating to you what the facts of the law are. So, as it pertains to the law, even if you are on private property, there are legitimate reasons for other people to enter your property. As if you have a walkway, that is considered what's called open field, or the legalese term is curtilage. If somebody can legally enter the curtilage of your home to approach your door, to knock on it, because you have a portal to your house, and if the mailman comes, he's got to have somewhere to go. So it's completely legal for him to beat up. You can't, and by the way, you can't put up no trespassing signs. Curtilage is not subject to the Fourth Amendment. They are, and even police officers, they have very, loosey-goosey. They're allowed to walk around, not jump fences, but they are allowed to look in windows that are unobstructed, things of that nature. So you have no expectation of privacy. I don't have an expectation of privacy if I'm sitting on my front porch. So neither does Special Agent Patrick Mays. Okay, so that's his name. I called me, or excuse me, I called him because at first I thought it was tax related from the Treasury, and then he called me back 10 minutes later and made me aware that some of my Instagram posts from August of 2022, might have actually stirred up some feelings and made some people feel a certain kind of way. So I went back to August. Okay. I went back to August 2022 and I pulled some screenshots, and in no particular order, this is just what I grabbed. So this one, and I'm going to follow along here. I think I have it on my phone. All 50 Democrat senators voted to pass the Inflation Reduction Act. It costs $700 billion, raises taxes on the middle class, hires 87,000 new IRS agents to target the working class families, and accelerates the war on American energy. Oh, and by the way, it increases inflation. Now, if you notice, there is a little missing context fact check brought to you by Instagram. By the way, that has one like. One person liked that. Okay, so I'm clearly in homegrown violent extremist. I'm definitely the new Timothy McVeigh. Here's another. Oh, there's only 15 posts, by the way. And one of them was 5 pictures. This is from the TV show Invincible. Think, Mark, think. Last month, they were weapons of war. This month, they're being handed out to IRS agents. That is right. There was accompanying video of them training IRS agents and giving them these training and also training AR-15s. This one's one of my favorites. I'm not like other boys. I'm much higher on the FBI list. That's right. Except now I've been delisted. I've been downgraded. Shit, I was on the FBI list when I was 13 years old, son. You got to get on my level, but it's hard to maintain. Like Jordan at the Wizards, it's hard to maintain. I'm downgraded. I'm at the Department of the Treasury now. That's not even Homeland Security, man. What am I going to do? I'm a right-wing extremist. I'm not even on the list, you know? With all they've been looking for me, I'm right here. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. Here's a good one. So from Tim Young, it's a screenshot of his tweet. Said, "Be right back. I'm gonna buy gravel for my driveway and sidewalks because they have a physically handicapped man in a wheelchair holding a training pistol at a extremely compliant elderly subject, and they're in a stack. By the way, that's not how you stack up. That's not a stack. That's target practice." Which I believe was one of the terms that Special Agent Patrick Mays had a problem with, that I used the term target practice. And I'll explain to you why as soon as that one comes up. Here we have, okay, this one I went through their video and screenshotted a bunch of times where the weapons handling was just abhorrent. Look at this. That's a semi-automatic pistol, right? Where is his thumb? I don't know if you can see my cursor. I'm trying to point at it, but probably can't see it. His thumb is directly behind the slide. That is going to F his thumb up. I'm trying not to curse so much, but I can curse. I can say fuck and shit and balls, but I'm just trying not to because YouTube and Facebook, they make a transcript and it degrades you. But look at this. I'm going to show you this. Look at this. I have a training pistol right here because I'm a badass and I'm a rifle and pistol instructor and I just have these things. So the way he's holding it is like this. That's hard. I got to use the other hand. Is like this, right? So when that slide comes to the rear, it's probably going to shoot the gun out of his hand like this if he's got a strong enough thumb, or it's going to snap his fucking thumb, or at least a tendon or something. What an absolute moron! This is the people that they're hiring to come to your house every time you make a $600 PayPal with. If you pay for something on PayPal, they're going to come after your ass. That's the same one I just showed you. Oh, yes. This guy followed Gold Pill. Says armed IRS agents investigating unreported $601 Venmo payment. Me showing them what I spent $601 on. And it's a sawed-off shotgun, which, by the way, is not technically illegal as long as you have it in your home and you don't take it anywhere else, and depending on what state you're in, but you can have a sawed-off shotgun. It's completely legal. Just throwing that out there. Not really good for aim, but I like the longer the barrel you can get because it's multi-purpose. You use it for hunting, but you know, if you have a small house, dude, scatter it up. Here's another one. Let's go through the memes. These are the memes that brought the feds to my house. Okay. And they're wearing stupid COVID masks, which everybody knew didn't work well before the COVID-19 outbreak. There was a meta-analysis done in laboratory settings with masks that doesn't stop flu. It doesn't stop COVID-19. They are too small they do not get caught up in the structure of the mask because they're smaller than the masks, than the actual, I want to say crystalline structure, but but it's smaller than the material that the mask is made of. It just slips right through. That's not the point. You got me excited, and I started talking about mask efficacy. Ooh-wee, I'll tell you what. So here we go. Just laugh emojis. Just laugh emojis. And I think this only got 1 like from a friend of mine. Go ahead and give him a follow if you want. Just look at the way with confidence. This chick in second in line is pointing her gun directly at the guy in front of him. Same thing. This chick behind her. Oh, she's at least got hers pointed at the ceiling. Not great, but slightly better. You know, it's like you're not completely fucked up. You're just not fucking up as bad as the other girl in front of you. Goodness gracious. I just can't. I can't. It's so good. Oh, here's the good one. Then we got the morbidly obese would never pass a PT test for any service coming in. Looking good, honestly. He's got good form, kind of, his eyes are kind of in line with his muzzle, eye muzzle target. He's coming in, front man in the stack. Usually it's smart to put the fat guy in the front of the stack, not going to lie to you. Going to absorb a lot of bullets. I'm surprised they had a vest that big. It's absolutely abhorrent. But look at this. This guy's, doesn't have his weapon down canted away. It's actually pointed at this guy's ass. It's pointed directly at the ass of the guy in front of him. And then this other person has a gun pointed at him. It's like that meme from that TV show with Jim Caviezel and the dude from Lost. I can't remember the name of the TV show, but it's like they're sitting in the church pew and there's a person behind the person, behind the person, behind the person. They all have guns. And then there's a sniper up in the rafters. It's like ridiculous. Let's continue the memery. This is the one. So I'm going to read this from my phone because it's too small to look at my screen and read it from my phone at the same time. There we go. We just made it bigger. So this is my commentary. This is what and I tagged the IRS in this post, by the way. It says, honestly, this makes me want to get a no knock audited for the hilarious target practice. At IRS, send me the first batch. Make sure they bring their pillows for the forever sleep slumber party. Hashtag fuck the IRS. Bunch of laughing emojis. Bunch of clown emojis. Bunch of middle finger emojis. So does that sound, I don't know, facetious at all? Does that sound like that I'm making credible threats? Did I say, hey, I'm going to come and do this? I said, if you send these dum-dums to somebody like me's house, if you send me the first batch and see what happens. I basically said, fuck around and find out. And we found out that the feds will come to your house. By the way, Special Agent Patrick Mays, I'm going to keep saying his name. He's going to be a meme. Special Agent Patrick Mays, who had zero authority to arrest me, zero authority to cite me, didn't have the ability to write me a ticket. There's a person he brought with him. I'm going to show her in a minute. It's freaking hilarious. He had zero legal authority to do anything. But it was a slow business day over there at the Department of the Treasury because they lost billions of dollars in COVID relief money and they're embarrassed. So, yeah, this guy it's a 50-50 chance this guy's a white nationalist. Let's just roll the dice. Yeah, right. Here's another good meme I put up of Prince Andrew and a girl who's being sex trafficked with Ghislaine Maxwell in the background. Ghislaine is representing inflation. The girl who is being sex trafficked is representing the U.S. taxpayer. And Prince Andrew, the pedophile, is representing the 87,000 new IRS agents. And we all know what Prince Andrew did to this little girl just after this picture was taken. By the way, another missing context fact check label from the good old Meta, Facebook, Instagram. We all know it happened. There's pictures and evidence. Some memes ring true. This one's just he looks at the new thing, and the new thing is the IRS adding 87,000 new agents. We're only hiring IRS agents to investigate billionaires. And in the IRS's actual wiki, it says, carry a firearm and be willing to use deadly force if necessary. Be willing and able to participate in assets and execution of search warrants and other dangerous assignments. And the guy goes, yeah. Tell me, is that what these people should be doing? Do we not have more pressing matters at hand? Do we? Yes, we do. But they're purposefully wasting money. Look at this. This is the part of the video where they're standing in a semicircle, all kind of half-heartedly. This guy's looking around in the middle. He doesn't know what he's supposed to be pointing his weapon at. This is just ridiculous. Here's another really good one, where the thoughts and the Wojaks, the intellectual jacks, are like, no, AR-15s are murder machines and they don't belong on our streets. And then the yes Chad is like the trad Chad. He said they're training IRS agents to raid our homes with them in suburbia. By the way, look where they're practicing going. They're taking them to the rifle range. They're taking long. By the way, the prone position, if you're looking at the bottom left here of the meme, the prone position is for long distance shooting, usually behind some sort of cover and concealment or from an elevated position. So they are planning to snipe you in your suburban home for a $601 Venmo transfer that you didn't declare. Literally. And that's not I know I'm saying it hyperbolically and jokingly, but I'm trying to keep it jovial and not soul crushingly dark. But that's literally what they're doing, because it's literally what they say. And I literally am saying literally the right way, but I know it's annoying. Sorry. Here we go. Another one, just like 25 laugh emojis with hashtag target practice, hashtag fuck the IRS. Because this looks like a PTA meeting. And I know they're going for the diversity points, but it just doesn't. Please come get me. I'm dead serious. Special Agent Patrick Mays, this is not a threat, but you can come back to my house anytime, buddy, and we'll talk about it. Because this is and I will dress you down. I was very polite to you on the phone because it was Friday. I was concerned that you were going to, I don't know, try to mess up things for me and my family. But you know what? After I thought about it and I've done a little research, you have no power. You have no power of me. You have no power of my family. Next time you come, I'm going to tell you to get the fuck off my property. And if you don't, I'm going to call the sheriff's department and he's going to freaking throw you down the stairs and put you in the back of his car. So this is another one. You really going to die over an income tax audit? Someone is. From Game of Thrones, everybody's favorite TV show except for the last season. This is another one. We got this is the same from the same video. We've got the wheelchair guy in the stack with just smiling away. And what I wrote was, I really hope that, and I tagged the IRS, sends one after me. And then it says, flaming body in the wheelchair being pulled down the street by Roomba. Obviously, that's a play on the Claymore Roomba joke, where you say, Alexa, play Fortunate Son, and the lights turn off and all the Roombas get deployed. It's a boogaloo meme. That's what it's for. And then there's a wheelchair man again, just tagging IRS, clown face emojis, laughing emojis. It's just, enough about me. That's, by the way, those are all of the memes that are shared from August of 2022. It took them this long to track me down. They finally caught the Tonto. They caught the tater. They finally got me, guys. So needless to say, I'm probably under surveillance. They're probably listening to me right now, but that's all good. I don't really care. Now, moving on, there is a second part to this video, right? So the second part of this video is TPUSA and Riley Gaines coming to town, being sponsored by hosted by the Sumner County Constitutional Republicans. And the sole mission of the Sumner County Constitutional Republicans is to not just push mainstream, electable, middle of the road Democrats with R's in front of their name. They are specifically in Sumner County. Sumner County is the county I live in Middle Tennessee. It's just outside of Nashville. To find God-fearing, constitutional, America first, Tennessee first, Sumner County first Americans and get them elected to public office, any public office, school board, comptroller, county commission, anything in Sumner County, all the way up to the state house. And they have been very successful thus far. One of my neighbors is on the board. She's very involved. I watched as I am not giving her 100% credit because I know there's that board. They all work hard together and it's a group effort. But from my point of view, since my neighbors started working with them, they've just exploded. They've had so many great speakers in the last 6 months, and I'm giving them a shout out here. Now, that being said, this is kind of a mixture of things because there's TPUSA stuff, there's Sumner County stuff, and then there is larger culture stuff. That's all kind of mixing together here on the second part of the video, okay, on the back end. So last month we had Kurt Cameron, famously from Growing Pains and from the Left Behind series, come to one of the libraries here in Hendersonville. Now, he brought his new kids book to read. I think it's called Learn to Grow or Grow with Me or something like that. Anyway, he was coming to read it. The library completely underestimated how many people were going to come. This is when people say this is God's country, it is God's country out here for real. Okay. They actually ended up somebody getting fired over it. This is where the controversy comes in. So TPUSA was there as well as Miss Riley Gaines. Barker. She said she got married. She's not used to using her last name as of yet, but let's just use it for pomp and circumstance in the tavern. And apparently there was some pushback from some of the library employees, complaining about the Pledge of Allegiance being said, the national anthem being sung, prayers being said, that there's too many church people here, things like that. That's the sentiment that Kirk Cameron put out on Twitter, and the board of Sumner County, well, I think the Sumner County board voted 4-3 to fire the director of the library, and his name was Mr. Alan Morales. I mean, that happens. And as one of my good friends, Andrew, pointed out, he said, you're not for people getting fired for speech. And you know what? Yes, you're right. And in a general context, that's true. But if you're a public official and you say something that is antithetical to the cultures and traditions of the people that you're supposed to be serving, then maybe there should be a vote. Now, also, my biases lean towards the church people. So take that as it may. I feel righteous in the way that I'm reporting it and the way that I feel it's positive that these events happened. But it is, as Riley Gaines pointed out in her speech, it was unfortunate that somebody had to lose their job over this. So let's get into it. Let me take a sip of my beautiful triple cask Irish whiskey here. Not a sponsor, but my goodness, Slane Irish whiskey. Gotta love it. I love it. Take a swig of this beautiful beer as well. Okay, now I feel ready. I am ready. Oh, I never showed the video of the guy coming to my house. Before we jump into TPUSA, let me take you to my front porch. Muted? All right, there we go. I'm unmuted. You could probably hear the wind blowing and stuff. So he's got a lady with him. She's got a clipboard. I would love nothing more than for her to have been carrying those 15 memes just printed out on a clipboard. That would be beautiful. Now you can see I live in a pretty nice neighborhood. It's quiet. There's people walking their dogs and they're pushing strollers, and very few cars drive by. It was very easy to find this. This guy's just standing here, staring at my Ring doorbell. Didn't ring it, by the way. Didn't ring the doorbell to alert me that he's there. He knocked on the door. Tells you how much he really wanted to talk to me. So either he's scared for his life because the Boog Boys are inside, or he's an idiot who doesn't realize that we have jobs, and then I'm not going to be home at 2:00 on a Friday afternoon. She asked him if he ring the doorbell, so he's looking for a card to put. It's 4 minutes long. I'm not going to subject you to it because goodness gracious, it's 4 minutes long. They stand there, they walk back down. He goes and gets the Scotch tape, brings it back, and tapes it to my door. It took me a lot longer to clean that tape than I wanted. Ooh, back to TPUSA and the Sumner County Constitutional Republicans. Really hard to say over and over again. Whew. So first we have Mr. Josh Default, Turning Point USA Executive Director of Big Gifts. He actually is like the number 2 guy over there at Turning Point. He's one of the first fundraisers, Charlie Kirk. This is him at the event. And we're over here at the Beach Cumberland Presbyterian Church, which is a historical site here in Hendersonville, Tennessee. It's not that far from the house. It's a beautiful building. They have a gymnasium on site. Josh was actually there to speak about taking Riley Gaines on these speaking engagements, and that TPUSA's got some new stuff coming. They have TP Faith, Turning Point Faith coming out. That's one thing that he announced. It was pretty cool. So it's not just going to be for college students anymore. He's very upfront. They're very upfront about their mission, right? They want to create basically celebrity conservative leaders and kind of make it cool to be a conservative so that younger people kind of latch on to some of the ideas and start actually delving into content and context and become competent and confident. I'm like Eminem over here with my rap. Terrible. But it's true, because that's what the left does. And when I say the left, I mean everybody to the left of like Ron Paul. Every everybody left of a traditional like leave me alone Christian traditional person. Like, so now they're a little bit more. TPUSA is clearly, they're very mainstream. They want to be in the mainstream. They do want to be accessible to the like Tucker Carlson wing of conservatism. They want to be accessible. They don't want to turn people off. That's fair. That the rest of us that live in the real world, that kind of like, that gloss gets you in the door, but the realities of the world are that that it is evil, dark, scary, terrible place. And most of the people in it are evil, terrible, dastardly demons. And that is not being hyperbolic, and I'm not being metaphorical. I mean that they literally worship the devil. They literally sacrifice children, and they're getting to where I'm going to tie this in a bow, the sacrificing of your children on the altar of abortion, on the altar of transgenderism. And it is irrevocably true what I just said. It is a way to sacrifice their children to gain power and to gain favor from the Antichrist. Sorry, the truth hurts. If you don't like it, I mean, that sucks. You're gonna find out. But I'm not the best person to tell you that. Okay, I'm not gonna land the blows lightly. I'm getting off track here. So Josh had a great introduction, and then he brought up Miss Riley Gaines. Here she is. I took that picture from the back row. I have a great camera. As you can see, we've got the cross there on the lectern. I don't know what is it, a lectern or is it a podium? Not sure what constitutes one or the other. And just so that some of you guys don't flip your lid, that guy's not wearing a MAGA hat. I do believe it was a firefighter's hat, even though this was the Constitutional Republicans of Sumner County. Yes, a lot of them voted for Trump, but it's not a super just MAGA, 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 MAGA. So Riley went on to tell her story, right? Where she comes. She comes from here. And when I say here, I mean from the town like right next door to here. She comes from Gallatin, Tennessee, all right? And she just recently graduated college. This is just like last year was her senior year. Like, she's still very young. She's like 22, something like that. Grew up in a conservative household in Fairview Plantation, which is just down the road from me here. Obviously went to church, obviously was more conservative. She makes no bones about that. And she was, everybody thought she was going to Florida. And this is her words now. I'm paraphrasing her speech. Everybody thought she was going to be a Gator. And when she visited University of Kentucky, no problems whatsoever. She just kind of felt that God wanted her to be there and decided to commit. Well, as she said, she struggled for the first year and a half. But then I'll tell you what, look at this. She is Scholar Athlete of the Year over here in the SEC. She was nominated for this. She's just an absolute beast of a swimmer. And during COVID, one thing that she said she did is while all the pools were closed and nobody was allowed to swim, she put on a wetsuit and went out. And this is why she was number one female swimmer in the country. She went and swam in Old Hickory Lake in February. Okay, and I know it's not as cold as up there. Calm down, Michigan. Calm down. I know it's not that. Calm down up there in the UP. All right, in the UP. It's not snowing, but it's damn cold, and the wind whips across that lake, and the water is not very warm. It's not very warm in the summertime, let's just say. And she would swim miles in Old Hickory Lake in the winter here in Tennessee. And my goodness, that's balls. That's ballsy. So she swam in the NCAA championship against a man who calls himself Leah Thomas. And this is a picture of the man 6'4" Leah Thomas. This is Riley Gaines. The story behind this picture is dubious and dastardly. I'm on an alliteration train today, you guys. I'm sorry. So Leah, I don't even know what this dude Leah's real regular name is before he decided to start calling himself or her. He's 6'4", still dating women, still exposing himself in the locker room. Who, by the way, Riley was the first one to stand up and say, "Hey, this is BS. We shouldn't be doing this. Why does he get to put his junk out there in front of us? We have Title IX for a reason, so females can feel safe in these athletic spaces. And yes, she did say when you're a swimmer, you get used to it. When you get used to being around other women who are athletes, who are in this field, who do this work, you know what I mean? And there is a comfortability. Okay, yes, that's a given. But then to have a man, a 6'4" man, come in swinging between his legs and staring, it's off-putting. Would you put your daughter there? Would you put? And this is not just. And this is obviously college, but imagine your daughter wants to swim, and because when you got to start young. When they're in middle school and you want some dude, some upperclassman coming in there and staring at your budding daughter, think about it for a second. Just took a sip of whiskey. Give me a second there. So this picture, they only let Riley hold this for a picture because the trophy that the dude Leah Thomas is holding was actually hers. She tied. They did not have a rule for a tie. She tied it down to the 100th of a second. And she admits that this is for two reasons. One, he wasn't trying very hard because he was a mediocre male swimmer and has an extreme testosterone, muscle density, bone density, and muscle mass advantage over any woman in that sport. And he wasn't even trying, and she is the best she's the best in the country and in her sport, and she tied his ass. That's a feat in itself. This is a movie, you guys. This is a freaking movie. She said that they only let her take a picture with it. Then she had to give hers back to and she was like holding the third place one or something like that. And then they sent her one in the mail. Now they have a rule. The NCAA came up with a rule. If there is an exact tie down to the 100th of a second, guess who wins it? The one who's older. That's the most arbitrary rule, but that's the only thing that they could think of as an excuse retroactively to make sure that the man who calls himself Leah Thomas could have gotten away with keeping the trophy because it's the first time it's ever happened. Because alphabetically, G comes before T, right? And it's at her home pool. Well, there's never been a tie before. These people want this to happen. They want pedophiles and they want sex offenders in these places. This is what they do. They want to upend and ruin our culture. They want to take away women's safe spaces. They want women to be afraid. They say, well, if you don't like it, you have to be a bigot and you can leave. No, this is ours. This is our sport. And when I say us, I mean Americans. I mean regular people that don't have some sort of mental disorder. Okay? That's what I'm saying. I feel sorry for you if you do, but you need to seek the right people and you got to seek the right help and try to figure it out. It's not for me to tell you that, but hey, you got a problem. And if you're going to hurt people because you have a problem, we don't allow that. We lock those people up. We should. We have to. And just to celebrate their mental illness as some sort of just quirk or, cause celeb or, what was I trying to say? Cause du jour. It's insanity. It's absolute insanity. So I digress. She's the only one that has taken a stand, and it's led to her, going viral, going on Tucker Carlson, meeting the president at CPAC. It just absolutely exploding all over the place. So then she comes back home to little old Hendersonville, Tennessee, to tell us her story, and it's super inspiring. I had a great time listening to the question. She took questions from the audience. They were 2 hours, 2-hour talk. She said she's not good at public speaking. She's getting pretty good at it. I would like also to note that the Sumner County Constitutional Republicans gave her their Patriot Award. They don't give it out very often, but because she stood against tyranny and stood against lies and stood against power, and was standing to lose everything, by the way. And it wasn't just her. It was her athletic director over there in University of Kentucky who stood behind her. Very few people stood up for her. She said that she actually had to use a pseudonym to get a booth at this NCAA event. They barred her from attending, and she coaches, athletic directors from all over the country would whisper, hey, we're all for you. This is ridiculous. We don't want to do this, but we have to. Even the person that she was collecting signatures to sue to give a legal letter of cease and desist to protect Title IX as it's written, which the Biden administration is trying to do away with. Excuse me. They're trying to use gender identity they're trying to retroactively fill in gender identity instead of sex, or the word gender, which, by the way, is a grammatical, it's a grammatical, how do you say? I'm losing my terms here because I'm getting fired up. I'm getting so effing pissed. Anyway, gender is just a way to refer to sex grammatically. And that was a very backwards way of saying that. I know there's another term for it. I just can't think off the top of my head right now. So gender is not a thing. Gender refers to sex. Sex is sex. Sex is gender. There's two of them. There's only two. There can only be two. There only ever has been two. And if you think there's more, you're either lying, you're lying to try to get power, or you are mentally ill. Period. That's it. And and that's saying that is power. It takes just a little bit of chutzpah to say that, because there's so many people out there that'll say, no, that's a bigot. That guy's a Nazi. That guy's a homophobe. That guy, it doesn't make me a homophobe, make me a transphobe. Trans isn't real in the first place. And I'm not denying their existence. I'm denying them the ability to rewrite reality. Okay. Reality is reality. You can see it with your eyes, you smell it with your nose, you feel it with your skin, and you hear it with your ears. And there's a couple other ways you could taste it there. I guess you could taste it too. Good Lord, I don't want to taste a tranny. Ugh. Go to Thailand sometime. But no, to force you to change your language, to force you to see something that is blue and say it's red, to see something that's a man and say it's a woman. They force you to do it by scaring you into, you're going to lose your job. You're going to get canceled on social media. You think I give a shit? I'm on my I'm actually on my 6th, but I have 4 active Facebook accounts right now because suck a dick. That's why. I've got 2 active Instagram accounts. Only one that the feds know about. And I don't care I'll keep making them because I don't care. And, people I care about, people I love, my wife and everybody is like, just get along to get along. Just don't do it. Don't say anything like it. Just go. I'm like, no, that's what they do. They slowly tighten and tighten and tighten to the point where you go, I don't want to. You've tricked yourself into thinking that you don't want to say it and you self-censor. No, fuck you. That's not just my childhood that's led me to this point, getting fucked over by the government since I was basically a child, since I was a baby even. We're not going to go into my traumatic childhood. That's not the point. But not just the Marine Corps in me. That's me, and not just growing up pre-internet, pre-social media, and coming into it in my 20s. This needs to be said. You need to have the courage to say, fuck that. That's stupid. You don't have to say it. You could say F that. You could say screw that. You could say, I don't like that. You don't want to use the word hate. Cool. But this is what I'm building towards, you guys. To merge these two things together and to put a bow on it and to try to circle this up, we need more Riley Gaines Barkers in the world. Okay? And we need more Tyler Randalls to get kicked off Facebook every 6 weeks just for saying the incontrovertible, indisputable truth. Truth. Objective. Unchanging. Monolithic. Unstoppable truth. And that's exactly what it is. You can't change what I say into anything else because I'm only arguing from pure fact. And I love doing it because you can't win an argument against me. And I love being right. I love being righteous, you guys. I love it. So awesome. And that's why I love mocking people like the dude in this picture who is on the left. I love mocking these people. And you say, oh, that's so cruel. Oh, you must be such a small person inside. No, I love mocking them because they're liars. Have I ever lied before? Yes. Will I probably lie in the future? Yes. Do I try not to? Yes, because it's wrong. Because it's sin. That dude is a liar. And he is by proxy forcing you to lie in your own brain and to self-censor and to censor others and to make them liars. It's forcing you to pull sin into your life. I'm not going to preach to you. I'm not going to try to convert you. I'm not going to proselytize, and I'm not going to evangelize. But I am going to say they're trying to make you do something that's wrong, that's not the truth. That's what they're doing. Okay? And that wears you down. It chips away at you, what's inside of you. It chips away at your morality. It chips away at your soul, at your morals, at your core. And don't let them do it. Do not let these people do it. And they're coming for your kids because they fucking said so. Nobody had a problem with drag shows. Matter of fact, been to quite a few myself, participated in a couple myself for a charity. Okay. One specifically at the Renaissance Fair in Texas. It was a drag competition for 22 Kill that benefited 22 Kill. We brought in a lot of good money, and I won. Let's put it this way. There was 2 times. The first time as an audience member joining in for a catwalk off. I won that. I won. I think it was called the Unqueenly competition. And then a couple years later, I actually was in Unqueenly proper with the full getup. My wife did amazing makeup. It was queens throughout the years. I was Cleopatra, Patty for short, right? And I was the only one that did an actual traditional drag show where you lip sync and stuff. The others had like theatrics and like pouring blood all over themselves. A good friend of mine who sadly has committed suicide is no longer with us, ended up winning and beating me, but I got 3rd place, and I was basically a rookie, which is high marks in the drag queen community. But it's all politics. You know how it is. Like it's a beauty pageant. You know what I mean? That's not the point, but I'm trying to illustrate to you that I'm not just some, right-wing, white nationalist, bigoted, homophobic, transphobic, hates everything that's gay. No, I don't. I've like I said, until you start bringing kids, this was specifically no kids allowed. This is adults only. It's an adult. It's clearly it's like a burlesque, sexualized form of entertainment akin to stripping. It's hyperbolic. It's over the top. It's a caricature of women. Okay, that's what drag is. It's a caricature of a female burlesque, and it's comedy. And there's a sliver of comedy in there because it's over the top and it's not realistic. Those things are not for kids. They're coming for your kids. That's why they want to get. That's as Riley Gaines was pointed out. There is a middle school girls basketball team that has 5 male starters and 7 total male kids on the team out of 12. Your little girls aren't going to get to play sports. Okay. And now Riley is very much in the TPUSA lane. A lot of the stuff that I'm saying, she has not said. She's very much in the TPUSA mainstream lane and saying, maybe we should have a 3rd category. This is the best way. And I love describing, and this is where I'm going to wrap it up because we're hitting 45 minutes. They are the John Adamses. They think that everybody deserves due process and that we should use the system and go work through the channels and go through the bureaucracy and make a change, make a stand, a moral stand, a legal stand. And I am Samuel Adams. Tar and feather that bitch in the street. I don't give a fuck. Drag them behind a horse. Burn their fucking house down. Run them out of town. Period. And I think we've lost the spirit of Samuel Adams in this country. As a matter of fact, it keeps a lot of that kind of crap out where I live and where they inject it in places like California and even Texas now, which I'm glad. I'm kind of glad I don't live in Texas because they're injecting into every school there. They're trying to here, but we actually have a really, really strong school board, really robust control of the state house as well. And that's why the Sumner County Constitutional Republicans are trying to keep that the case. See how I just tied a bow on it all? So, once again, I have been your host, Reverend Sergeant Tyler Randall, using both of my titles purely for pomp and circumstance. And Tavernites, until next time, having you into the tavern, I bid you adieu. Peace. And drink whiskey. We drink here. That's what we do.